Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me for another 5 Easy Step card tutorial. Today we are sweetening things up and we're using some items from Spellbinders. It's actually from Spellbinders and Stamperia. They joined forces, and in the Candy Christmas collection is so sweet, literally. We're using the Gingerbread plain and banners we're going to make a bonus card at the end too. So stay tuned for that because it's really cute. This is the Candy Christmas Collection, part of it. This is the Gingerbread plain and banners. It's a little cookie with icing. I mean, how cute is this? I just love this. This reminded me of those frosted animal cookies. I just thought this was so sweet. So we're going to be using this on our card as our focal point. And then we're also using some sweet borders. That's the name of this die set. I mean, how sweet is this? This for holidays all year round. I think you could use this. And then we're using an embossing folder. This is the Waffle cone embossing folder. And let me zoom in. It looks just like a waffle cone. So yummy. And then I'm also bringing in a stencil set. This one has been around for a long time. In fact, I don't even know if Spellbinder still has this or not. But it has large polka dots on here, and I just thought this would make a great background for my card today. Polka dots. Can't go wrong with polka dots, right? So let's jump in and get started with our step number 1 and create our focal point. We're going to do some die cutting, and I'm going to go with pinks today. We're going to die cut out this cute little plane, which is so adorable. Okay, we're going to die cut this out with some Nina Desert Storm cardstock. I think that makes a great cookie base. And then I'm also going to die cut out with pink cardstock. There is a background and then the top piece for the plane. And so I'm going to die cut out the background with a darker pink. And then the top piece that has the holes in it, I want to die cut out with the lighter pink. You're going to end up with 2 sets, so you could actually make another plane if you wanted to. And then you have the icing pieces. We're going to add with the pink cardstock. And then as far as my focal point, that's all we're going to do. We're just going to create a simple plane for my focal point. Once I have everything die cut out, maybe I should zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. Sometimes my camera gets a little fuzzy when I zoom in, and I excuse the shaky camera. I have it mounted on my desk now, which is not a great idea. Eventually, I'm going to put it on my ceiling, so I don't have that shaky camera. But I have my ceiling fan, and it's a process because I got to take down my ceiling fan to add my camera. I got to sacrifice my ceiling fan. So that will explain the shaky camera, okay, so it's now on my desk. But anyways, I have everything die cut. And what we're going to do next is add some ink. I'm only going to add ink to one of the elements here. Okay, I'm going to add it to the very bottom and just add a little green ink here. Okay, we just need a little extra color, and that's going to do the trick. And you're thinking green with a pink for a cookie, but you know what I say. Bear with me. I think it's going to just add the right amount of color to my cookie. Now let's build it. So I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to add a little glue behind here. And I'm going to layer this. I've got my tweezers. We're going to layer this right over the background. So now we have the windows of our plane that have the dark pink behind it. Just tack this down. And then there is debossed area on the plane, so you know where to add the layers. After we have this done, we're going to add some glue to the frosting part here. That's only one layer, so all we need to do is just add it like a puzzle piece. And then for the wing on the back, on the sides, for the back of the plane, we have layers. Okay, we add a little glue here and here. This is where the debossed area is. And then we can add, this piece goes here. And then this one goes layered here. It's so neat how it just comes together. And then this piece, you add a thin bead at the very bottom, and then this piece goes here. And that is our cookie plane. I didn't even toasty up the edge of our cookie. That's our focal point. Now we're going to move along to step number 2 and create our home panel. Now my home panel today is going to be so much fun. Your home panels just don't have to be circles and rectangles. Did you know you can make shapes out of it? So what I'm going to do is take some cardstock, and then we are going to use our embossing folder, and we're going to emboss this. You don't need a very big piece. We're going to create a waffle cone. Okay, and then while I'm at the die cutting machine, I'm also going to do a little bit more die cutting for my home panel. And this is where we're going to die cut out some clouds here. Okay, and then I'm also going to take the same pink cardstock, and I'm going to do a little bit die cutting with the borders for the home panel. We have the icing border, and then we have this piece here. I'm going to use this one, okay? And I'm actually not going to use what we die cut out. I'm going to use the negative piece. So let's die cut out. So I'm going to put this almost all the way to the top here, so I get the little dripped edge, and I'll do the same thing with this. I will run these through my die cut machine and emboss this, and I'll be right back. Now for my home panel, this is what I meant. This is what you're supposed to use, but I'm going to use actually the negative piece of it. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side, and then we're going to use the negative pieces. I just kind of like the dripping look, like this, okay? I'm actually going to add a little ink to the very bottom of this piece here using the same green ink. Let's see. Just a really light layer. Wonderful. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to layer it right over the darker pink. These are the same colors that we used for our cookie plane. There we go. Okay, now with this, we are going to take some scissors. You could use your paper trimmer if you want. And I'm going to create a triangle. We're going to make a cone, ice cream cone. Just like this. This part doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Okay, so this we're turning into an ice cream cone. I'm going to take this and I'm going to layer this at the top of this piece here. And then I'm going to use this panel as a guide. You want to make sure that your frosting goes the width of 4 inches. Okay? So that's all there is to that. Keep this. We're going to use this for our background. Now what we're going to do is take our clouds and we're going to layer them on the bottom here, just above the cone portion, like this. Use this as a guide, okay? And I think that looks like a little ice cream topper with clouds. I think that's going to be so, so cute. Okay, after we have this done, I'm going to bring back that piece here. I'm just going to line it up so my ice cream is kind of centered here. And then you just want to make sure that your clouds aren't going over the top. And then I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. Anything overhanging on the sides, I'm going to trim away. And then that is all there is to my home panel. We're going to put this to the side with our cookie plane. And now we're going to work on step number 3 and create our greeting. Right, we're going to bring back our die set. I have white cardstock. We're going to cut out the greeting in here that says sending love. So this card doesn't have to be Christmas either. This one could be every day. And then with the lighter pink, I'm going to die cut this out just with the banner. Now we have 2 banners. We'll just put these back. Using the same green ink, I'm going to add a little bit of ink to the very bottom, just a little bit. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to add some pink to the very top. Now all we have to do is layer the top layer. Right over the back banner here. In the die set, there's a little piece that you would attach to the plane. You'll see it on the second card that I'm going to show you. This piece here to create it. But if I were to do this on my A2 card base, let me show you. I don't think I would have much room for both of them. You see how they kind of stick out? So for this one, for attaching these two, you would probably want to go landscape style on your cards, unless you do a larger 5x7 or a larger card base. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. We're going to put some foam tape behind here, so this is ready to go. So we have focal image, home panel, and then we have our greeting. Now we're going to move along to step number 4 and create our background. That's where the polka dot stencil comes in. We're going to add some pink ink. It's the same pink ink we use for our greeting. And I'm going to go just add pink to different sections here. And then I'm going to bring in a yellow. This is Pink Fresh Studio Sunshine. We're going to pick up a little ink, and then I'm going to go in some of the other sections, kind of overlapping. So we have an orange and we have a yellow, and we're going to bring in our green too. Green we're going to use a little bit of sparingly because these could muddy the pink. So we're going to go in the white areas with the green. The whiter areas with the green, I should say. There we go. So we have pink, yellow, and green in our background. We'll just lift this up. Uh-oh. I just love the colors of this. I do have a little bit of dried glue here. Okay, it may be splatter. Who knows what that is, but it's a blemish. But no worries. I think my home panel is going to be able to cover that, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to take this panel and we're going to add it to the front of our A2 card base. I'll just center this. It's going to leave me a little bit of a border and kind of framing it in. I like my frames. Now we're going to assemble it with all of our elements, but I'm looking at my white cone, and I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of brown. I have my brown blending brush, and I don't think I'm going to add any extra ink to it. I just want it settle, but I want to add a little bit of brown ink to my cone. Just a little touch of brown makes a big difference. I did pop this up with foam tape, and we're just going to remove the release paper and add this. Hopefully it'll cover up those. Yes, and then this is going to go in the center. And I really got lucky. It did cover up those spots. Just make sure it's centered here. Then I'm going to take my plane and we're going to add it to our cloudy ice cream. And then we're going to take our greeting. Okay, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to straighten up the end a little bit, like so. And then I'm going to tack this down over here. So my straight edge is lined up here. You may have to adjust it just a little bit. Oh, cute. Okay, now I'm going to move along to step number 5, which means it's time to embellish. Now there's a lot going on here. So I'm only going to bring in, this is going to pack a punch. I'm going to bring in my Nuvo Crystal Drops. This is white, okay? And then I'm also going to bring in my Icicle glitter. Since it's a cookie, it would need some icing on here. I'm going to use my Nuvo crystal drops as icing, more icing. You can never have enough frosting. I'm going to add it to my plane. Kind of droop it down a little bit here. This part doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go along the back of the plane here and along the wings, the icing here. This is so much fun. Okay, and then I'm also going to add it to the top of my greeting. Now we're going to add a little bit of our icicle glitter. Let me grab my little spoon. Next, I'm bringing in some scratch paper. Okay, I'm going to spoon a little bit of this glitter right over those Nuvo icing that we did. And this is going to give a little candy coated Christmas vibe. Just spoon it right over the top. Glossy accents would dry clear, and I really like the white because it really looks like icing. So, but if you don't have the white crystal drops, you can use glossy accents too. It just doesn't give the same look because it's not white. I'm going to tap this off. Okay, let's funnel this back in our jar. You could also add it to the clouds. You could go crazy with the icing if you wanted to. Okay, and then that is all I'm doing. That finishes my card today. A lot going on, but I think it's a super fun just because card. Making a cloud-filled ice cream cone with a cookie plain. Okay, for my next card, we're making a landscape style card. For this next card, I created some clouds, overlapped them here. Okay, and then I created the same. I already put my embellishment on here. Okay, so it's all glittered up, but that's my focal image. For my home panel, we have the cookie base with the embossing folder. We have the border die, and then I added the top vellum piece. Let me give you the measurements in case you want to copy this. This is 4 3/4 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. Okay. So that will be my home panel. I put foam tape behind my clouds, and I'm just gonna add it to the vellum here. Okay, now we're gonna, for step 3, which is our greeting, I did the same thing we did with our first card, but I just added a little hanger here. Okay, what we're gonna do is attach it to the back of the plane with a little bit of glue. Okay, and then for my background, I did the same thing with the same stencil, same colors, and all I'm going to do is add some adhesive behind here, and I'm going to tack this down to the front of my card base. I'm not going to add foam adhesive behind here. Okay. And then as far as embellishing, which is step number 5, I already did that earlier. I just wanted to make sure it was dry. But we added these two to the airplane and to our banner and also to the border here. I do want to mention too that the border that I use for this one is the full border. I didn't use the negative piece. Okay, and that will finish off my second card project. So 2 sweet cards today using some fun items from Spellbinders. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.